Have you ever noticed this? The moment life starts getting a little better, the moment you finally start catching up, the moment things feel a little more peaceful, somebody shows up with a problem. They need money. They need help. They need you to carry something that somehow became your responsibility. And after a while, you start asking yourself, why does it feel like every time I get ahead, something pulls me right back? A lot of people think that is just bad timing. Sometimes it is not. Sometimes it is the people around you. Not evil people, at least not in an obvious way. Just the wrong people with too much access to your peace, your thinking, and your finances. Let me ask you this before we go any further. Have you ever had somebody only show up when things finally started getting better for you? If that has happened to you, say yes in the comments, because a lot of people know exactly what that feels like. The first person is the crisis carrier. You know this person. There is always something going on. Always. A bill, a car problem, a rent problem, a shutoff notice, a last-minute emergency, a reason they need help right now. And at first, you help because you care. That is normal. The problem is not helping once. The problem is when you start noticing that nothing ever really changes. Same panic, different week, same story, different month, same promise, different emergency. That is when you realize this is not just a hard season. This is a pattern. And if you are always the one stepping in, then their pattern starts eating into your peace. Maybe it is a grown child who still lives like somebody will always catch them. Maybe it is a relative who never calls just to check on you, only when they need something. Maybe it is somebody at church who always has a heavy story, always needs support, always says, "I hate to ask." But now listen carefully. The Bible teaches compassion, but it does not teach you to become a permanent backup plan for somebody who refuses to change. As 2 Thessalonians 3:10 reminds us, if someone is unwilling to work, that pattern should not be rewarded forever. That is not cruelty. That is clarity. Because some people are not trying to get out of the hole. They are just trying to make sure you keep climbing in with them. And that is where a lot of good people get trapped. They think love means always saying yes, no. Sometimes love helps. Sometimes love gives. And sometimes love stops shielding a bad pattern. So hear me. You are not helping them move forward if all you are doing is helping the same cycle continue, and the next person is harder to spot. Because they may never ask you for money. They just keep talking until you stop believing you can do more. The second person is the foolish counselor. This person does not sound crazy. That is why people listen to them. They sound calm, normal, even caring. You bring up an idea, and they say, I don't know. You say you want to start something, and they say, that sounds risky. You say you are trying to do better financially, and they say, you should not get your hopes up. You say maybe God is opening a door, and they say, in this economy? Be careful. Or they say, people like us don't really do that. I wouldn't count on that. You should probably play it safe. Don't get too excited. Now that sounds harmless. But after enough conversations like that, something starts happening. You stop moving. You stop expecting. You stop believing anything can really change. That is what makes this person dangerous. They do not come at you like an enemy. They just slowly lower your ceiling. They keep bringing everything back down to what is safe, what is familiar, what is small. And a lot of people have spent years stuck there. Not because God said no, not because the opportunity was fake, but because somebody around them kept training them to expect less. Proverbs 13:20 warns that the companion of fools suffers harm. And sometimes the harm is not instant. Sometimes it is years of thinking smaller than God ever told you to think. You hear that long enough, and it gets inside you. Now you are calling fear wisdom. Now you are calling unbelief maturity. Now you are calling staying stuck being realistic. That is a problem. Because the wrong voice does not have to control your life to limit it. It just has to sit close enough to keep talking. So no, not every cautious person is wise, and not every practical voice is helping you. Some people are just deeply committed to a smaller life, and they want you to stay there with them. Remember this: bad advice does not always sound bad. Sometimes it just sounds familiar. And the third person goes even deeper than that. Because this one does not work through advice. This one works through your heart. The third person is the guilt manipulator. This person knows exactly where your soft spot is. They know you care. They know you have a conscience. They know you do not want to be selfish. And that is exactly why they know how to pull on you. They may not even ask straight out. Sometimes it sounds like this: I guess I'll figure it out. It's okay, don't worry about it. I just thought family was supposed to be there. It must be nice to be able to say no. I wouldn't ask if it wasn't serious. And there it is. That heavy feeling. Now you feel bad. Now you feel responsible. Now you feel like saying no would make you cold, selfish, or ungodly. That is how this works. And good people fall for this all the time. Parents, siblings, church people, people with tender hearts. Because when you genuinely care, guilt can be used like a key. And once somebody learns that guilt opens the door, they stop needing honesty. They just need the right pressure. But hear this clearly. Not every need in front of you came from God. And not every request deserves access to your peace. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians 9:7 that God loves a cheerful giver, not a pressured giver, not a giver who feels trapped, not a giver who feels cornered, not a giver who says yes and then lies awake later feeling used. That feeling matters, because healthy giving leaves peace. Manipulation leaves heaviness. So if every time you help this person you walk away drained, tense, and frustrated, that is not something to ignore. That is information. Sometimes they do not need your help nearly as much as they need access to your guilt. And that kind of access can cost you a lot over time. Your peace, your margin, your money, your focus. So remember this. Just because someone knows how to make you feel bad does not mean God is telling you to say yes. And the fourth person is more subtle. They are not always needy. They are not always emotional. But they can still wreck your financial peace if you stay around them too long. The fourth person is the chaos normalizer. This is the person who makes bad money habits feel normal. They always have a reason to spend, always have a reason to upgrade, always have a reason why budgeting is too much. You say, I'm trying to be more disciplined. They say, come on, live a little. You say, I don't want more debt. They say, it's just a card. Everybody does it. You say, I'm cutting back this month. They say, it's only dinner. It's only one trip. It's only a few $100s. You say, I'm trying to slow down. They say, you work hard. You deserve it. Now by itself, that may not sound serious, but stay around that mindset long enough, and it starts getting on you. Now overspending does not feel that bad. Now impulse feels normal. Now debt feels ordinary. Now wisdom feels extreme. That is how people drift. Not always through one giant mistake. A lot of times, it is slower than that. It is dinners you should not be spending on, subscriptions you do not need, shopping to feel better, keeping up appearances, trying to look blessed instead of actually getting stable. And some people live like that all the time. Every month is a scramble. Every bill is stress. Every decision is emotional. But because they smile through it, other people start thinking it is normal. It is not. Proverbs 21:20 says the wise store up, but the foolish consume all they have. That is why stewardship matters. The Bible teaches faithfulness, self-control, wisdom over image. God never told you to look successful. He told you to be faithful with what is in your hand. And one of the fastest ways to lose peace is to spend too much time around people who treat financial disorder like it is no big deal. So hear me. If somebody keeps making foolish money habits sound normal, they are not helping your future. And the fifth person may be the most uncomfortable one of all. Because this person may never ask you for anything. They may just quietly hate what starts happening when God blesses you. The fifth person is the hidden resenter. This one is tricky. Because they do not always say anything wrong. Sometimes you just feel it. You tell them good news, and their face changes a little. Not a lot. Just enough. They smile, but it is tight. They say, "That's great," but it feels flat. They congratulate you, but there is no warmth in it. You know what I mean. This is the person who is comfortable with you struggling, comfortable with you needing help, comfortable with you being behind, comfortable with you staying small. But once your life starts moving, once doors start opening, once things start changing, something in them shifts. Now they act concerned. Now they want to keep you grounded. Now they keep bringing up what could go wrong. Now they suddenly have a lot to say, and maybe they sound supportive on the surface. But underneath it, there is resistance. Because some people liked the version of you that did not challenge them. Your struggle made them comfortable. Your growth does not. James 3:16 says where envy is, there is disorder. And the story of Saul and David shows exactly what that looks like. Saul was fine when David was useful. He was not fine when David started rising. And a lot of people are like that. They can stand next to you in hard times. They just cannot rejoice when God starts lifting you. So no, you do not need to become suspicious of everybody, but you do need to pay attention to what changes when your life starts changing. Because not everyone who stays close to you is meant to go with you into the next season. Remember this. Some people can handle your struggle. They just cannot handle your growth. So what do you do with all of this? You do not need to become hard. You do not need to hate people. And you do not need to make a scene. But you do need discernment. Because financial breakthrough is not only about making more money, it is also about protecting your peace, protecting your focus, protecting your thinking, protecting what God is trying to build in your life. So be honest about who drains you. Be honest about who influences you. Be honest about who keeps pulling you back into confusion. Some people need a boundary. Some people need less access. Some people need distance. And some people should not have influence over your financial decisions anymore. You do not have to punish them. You do not have to fight them. But you do need to stop giving certain people the same level of access they have always had. Because sometimes breakthrough does not start when more money comes in. Sometimes it starts when the wrong people stop having so much access to you. So let me ask you one more thing. Which one hit home for you the most? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Put the number in the comments. And if this message helped you see something clearly, subscribe. Because one moment of discernment can save you years of delay.